for top 16, and then he just fell short. We were all very sad to see Welmu go, and then Welmu defeated the whole Bounty Hunters team, which was the Korean team house in Europe. Definitely a lot of fire was around his name, but here he is up against TCM SoulKey.
Yeah. He is our Finnish Protoss player in the northeast position. Good old Welmu. And spawning in the southwest side of Overgrowth as our Blue Zerg, it is SoulKey. Both these guys, mighty impressive. And ooh, this mineral count. Look at this mineral count, Nathanius. Fast pool. Well, weren't we just talking about why this would be difficult to do? Unless he's expecting a Nexus first. Then it's like, oh, it's brilliant because it doesn't matter if his latency has nothing to kill the Zerglings with. But I don't know.
Oh, and an early drone scout as well, just to find out.
What?
So, I mean, he's hindering his own income a lot by doing this, guys.
I feel like the drone scout, like, ideally, you'd want to be up against a Nexus first, which one was not doing. But if you drone scout, then the Protoss would they can't put the Nexus there, so you have to you kind of make it difficult to get the opener that you want out of the other guy. But I guess at the very least he'll know there's a gateway. I don't know if that changes what you're going to do out of a 10 pool.
I mean, there's not many options, right? He's going to see this gateway at the top of the ramp, and this is kind of like...
Unless he proxy hatches him in his base.
Darn.
But I don't know. I don't see that being the play.
His income's so low. So the first 3 larvae go into Lings.
Is he just going to try to block where a core would be put down?
I think he's going to block where a Nexus would go down, actually. Without seeing any gas.
Yeah, with no gas. Yeah, he should go Nexus next. Yeah. So he's not actually sure. And he put this other drone down here because he wants Welmu to think that he's expanding, but in reality... It's not happening.
No, it's
so
not
this is actually a really sick play by SoulKey because Welmu thought he was expanding, and now he's realized he's like, oh, snap.
The probe actually killed the drone in a one-on-one over there.
That is not a fight that probes usually win.
No, not at all. With regen and all that, so...
Actually, probes don't win 1v1 versus drones, so I'm actually boggled as to how he did that.
This is really good for Welmu. This is really good for Welmu, guys. There's no hatchery going up. A Zealot's out. How do you deal with this Zealot? Well, if it's blocking the wall like this, you don't. They're both on one base currently, but Welmu, look at the probe count, look at the harvest count. He's very far ahead, and while this is going on...
Well, this is exactly the kind of micro we were talking about being really difficult, and like a god, SoulKey is still actually not losing to the Zealot, but that probe came out and was basically like, back it up.
That drone, or that probe pull by Welmu was kind of nifty.
Yeah, if he loses that Zealot, then it gets weird. Even though most of the Lings are still kind of weak, but yeah. He cancels the next Zealot. He's like, I don't need that. I'm good.
Yeah, so Welmu handling this pretty darn well. I mean, he killed the drone with his probe, which that doesn't often happen if this happens.
No, that's not really supposed to happen.
Now he's getting out a Stalker, and he's getting Warp Gate upgrade. He doesn't have a probe out on the map, which is a little bit tricky to know what your opponent's going to follow this up with. I guess he could still be worried about if it was a big Baneling all-in afterwards, blowing up that front Zealot.
That's so crazy. Like, the only player that would do that, though I think about it, is like Bly.
Bly, yeah. And
I like that we both immediately was like, yeah, Bly's the only guy that would do that. And he would probably win with it, too, because he's Bly.
Well, we saw Bly do crazy things like 15 hatch, 14 pool, 13 gas, and all in with Lings and knocked Rain out to qualify before.
That just doesn't make any sense, but there you have it.
That being said, Welmu, Stalker out in the field. Ooh. That's kind of one of those moments where you're like,
that's Stalker! Oh!
Ooh. Okay.
Nope.
This is where latency gets a little bit difficult, but that being said, nice run around by Welmu.
Big Daddy Zealots here.
Whoa, look at the production tab, Nathanius. We have 12 Lings and speed on the way.
I think he's going to try to force his way in here.
I think Welmu's in pretty darn good shape.
Fall back.
I don't think these Lings can realistically achieve anything here. He's got a Stalker, he's getting a second Stalker on the field. It's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, you're lacking on firepower, right? No, he's going to have quite a decent bit of firepower, even without the Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, Welmu's adding on 2 more gateways, but...
If he doesn't...
I mean, if he gets caught, gets caught out on the map like this, like, he actually could just die. There's not enough energy for a recall yet, even.
There will be by the time speed comes out, so he's got control of his tower. He doesn't see this huge swell of Lings, but then it's a choice of, hey, do I recall?
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, no. He doesn't see. Okay, that probe spots it, but it's too late now.
Oh,
he's not going to be able to block that.
Oh.
His warp gate's not even done. He couldn't try.
Oh, no. SoulKey. Oh, man.
He does start a pylon at the top of his main ramp, so, like...
This is genius by SoulKey, though. Like, few players could pull this off, but he's doing it, and now he's going to get quite a few probe kills.
The thing is, he doesn't want to recall because he needs a Photon Overcharge.
Right, so does he save these Stalkers on the low ground with a recall? I mean, they're getting surrounded. Where's the Mothership Core?
They're done, man.
Oh, man. So much damage being done by SoulKey, and this all-in that I thought, oh, man.
Yeah, Welmu just got shake and baked right there. Even these sentries he warps in still very close to the Zerglings. Zerglings actually kill both sentries, and they're going to kill the pylon, and they're going to break into Welmu's base, and now he's got absolutely nothing to defend against this. That Nexus, even under threat of just dying, look at the production tab. He's just pouring out lings. He's not stopping.
And yeah, that Nexus is going to fall. And then what firepower does he have to really deal with these lings? Well,
it's like, yeah, we can't kill the Mothership Core, but guess what? Everything will die by the time you kill all of my lings.
Absolutely everything. And here, going for the pylons. In fact, he's going for the gateway, going for the Zealot. The Zealot's a big kill. Now, those probes, absolutely fleshy. Zealots being walked in. The Zealots will save those if he does go for them, but going for the pylons here, hoping to supply block Welmu. So many lings.
Yeah, cutting off that production is so nice. Like, you limit him just that Mothership Core. This many lings, like Welmu has to fight with the Zealots basically tucked between the mineral lines and the probes, and this is like, you can't really get a better position than this as Welmu, but it's not gonna cut it.
One Zealot falls, and GG is called. Great play by SoulKey.
Yeah, SoulKey did exactly what I thought wouldn't work because of latency, and then he was like, yeah, I'm actually pretty good at this game, so
we have to talk about why that worked though. So Welmu, he got 2 Stalkers and a Zealot out, right? Yeah. With his Mothership Core. And he automatically assumed, hey, my opponent's probably going to be playing greedy from this point. I'm going to slow that down. He did not anticipate that huge Ling follow-up.
He might have been thinking the same thing we were thinking.
Yeah, and I mean, SoulKey at that point in time, he was like, okay, so if my opponent assumes that I'm playing greedy, trying to get back into this because I 9-pooled and it failed, like it's a build order win for Welmu, he's probably going to be moving out with this. And beautiful, beautiful execution, beautiful thought patterns by SoulKey.
I think it also really comes down to SoulKey seeing that it wasn't just like a gateway expand. Like he went for a gateway and then he wanted to get the Nexus, but the gas was so late that when the Cybernetics Core finished, he started Warp Gate and a Stalker. So the Mothership Core was out really late, and like in a normally timed gateway expand, like if you get that Mothership Core immediately when the Cybernetics Core is done, maybe instead of barely hitting 100 energy, he's maybe pushing like 150, 160, and then you've almost got something that you could like recall, defend for a little bit, then Photon Overcharge, so you don't lose the Stalkers, and that allows you to at least hang on and buy yourself a bit more time. So a lot of the build choice from Welmu, you didn't have too many options.
SoulKey banked. Like, he put all his eggs in one basket there, which was Welmu's going to move out and try and slow me down, because if he didn't, and he has that wall with a Zealot in the wall, he has like a gateway wall, he has 2 Stalkers, and he has Photon Charge with a Mothership Core available.
Yeah, it's like you can't break that.
No, you can't break that. So SoulKey, he really almost knew. In fact, he knew he had one chance and he took it. He really did. So really great winning. I can't even describe it enough how brilliant that was by SoulKey to really bank on that. Even though it was a massive all-in and a massive gamble, it was the one chance he had, and he took it, and it worked out absolutely magnificently. Keeping the Lings out of vision too, and like kind of waiting for Welmu to move out on the map. Like when you are behind, and if you only have one chance, and your chance becomes less and less as the game goes on. Like it was very clean by SoulKey there.
Not a fun place to be for Welmu.
No.
As we move into game number 2, we are loading into Deadwing.
We've seen SoulKey do that quite a bit, actually. Have like a huge build order deficit, despite starting off with like a 9-pool or a 10-pool in multiple matchups, and he somehow manages to turn it around.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely one of the scariest because he can do anything.
I mean, he's like, we can't count him out. Like, SoulKey is, you know, he has that reputation. He's been basically the best Zerg in the world at one point, at least. Yeah. And he's still got the skills, even if he doesn't have, you know, the most recent results, but I guess you don't get to see too much of him lately since he's not playing for a Kespa team anymore.
No, he is not. Playing for the British team, TCM. So, Deadwing is our second map of the series. SoulKey with a 1-0 lead. And spawning in the top left of Deadwing, it is our red Protoss, Welmu.
Yeah, wasn't it Welmu that actually tried to... I think it was him in his group where he tried to like bust out a fast Forge with like the 2 probe move out, or am I thinking of a different Protoss?
He definitely did a groovy cannon rush on this map.
Yeah.
With the cage.
So what? Yeah, the cage. That's right. That's what I was thinking.
Look at SoulKey.
SoulKey's so cheeky. Of course, it's the blue Zerg in the bottom right with a really fast spawning pool and another drone scout. Well, with the way that that pylon is placed, this is pretty much one of 2 things. And since the probe didn't move out, I think it could be the Forge opening again, because usually you want to get that quick scout if you're going Nexus first, because if you go Nexus first and you don't scout this pool, you're just done. So he should get the Forge at 2 probes. He's going to go for it again.
And this isn't good for Welmu. Like, he's really banking on his opponent going for some kind of hatchery build here, and Deadwing, it's a huge map. Oh, and look at this. Sees one probe, sees a second probe. SoulKey knows what's up, and Welmu brings his probes back home. He's been spotted, Forge at the front. Oh, now I'm interested in seeing what SoulKey exactly is going to go for behind this.
Yeah,
like,
I'm very curious as to where he heads.
Do you think Welmu's just going to instantly build a cannon here, realizing like, hey, you did this the first game, you're probably going to do the same thing, right?
His probe's about to show up at that base. He's going to be like, okay, no hatchery. Okay, oh, Lings. Well, here we go. Yeah, he selected his probe, so he's definitely looking. He knows now. And the probe's there. Okay, I think he just started up the cannon.
Oh, stays on creep a little bit too long there. Cannon has started. I think, oh, nice gateway positioning.
Yeah, he's just trying to block it all off. The nice thing is that because it's cross-spawn Deadwing, right, you have the longest rush distance that you can pretty much get. So if this was like overgrowth, if something like this happened, and you know, maybe these builds wouldn't be chosen on that map, you're kind of screwed because they can just get to your base so much faster.
I'm very worried about those Lings just sneaking around. Oh, is it?
Oh! Cheeky the Muslim.
Wow, okay. And Welmu.
I mean, it's like
second
Welmu,
pylon.
it's like, okay, building pylons is a pretty normal thing for a Protoss to do, but he doesn't want to have to build another cannon, and that
he's going to have to do.
Suck, yeah. Especially if SoulKey does anything crazy like the last game. He doesn't have gas this time around, so there's no super wonky follow-up. He's just going to expand, and we'll see what happens as the gases get taken for Welmu.
Makes a cyber core here. He is eventually going to have to make a cannon or something, though. I mean, these rocks, while they are dying slowly, they're dying. I mean, a third of their health is already lost. And for Welmu here, having to put down an extra 150 Mirage just to defend a point that you're probably never going to have to defend again.
Yeah, there's that cannon. Yeah, it's not a fun place to be. That's just going to be an open target. And SoulKey's like, all right, now I'm going to play greedy.
So, guys, SoulKey, upon going 9 pool and kind of getting scouted early.
His head, man.
Yeah, I mean, what a great move. Like, this is kind of what Welmu was anticipating the game before. It's like, okay, my opponent's opened up 9 pool, and I've totally thwarted it because I've got a gateway on the high ground, there's a wall. He's probably going to be playing greedy to catch up, correct? And the answer is no, it was not correct. Well, Welmu got caught with his pants down, and SoulKey just crushed him with an all-in. But this game, SoulKey opting with the same build initially, but then going for a very greedy opening, and upon forcing a second cannon, it looks like SoulKey's in pretty darn decent shape. Yeah,
SoulKey even gets to see that Forge starting +1. So, knows, okay, it's going to be an upgrade play. His Lings definitely saw it at some point. Overlord will move in as well. No gas in the natural just yet. Welmu's focusing on probe production.
Oh,
but he's not just going to start up a bunch of gateways and use this probe to do something crazy. Is he? Lings are just actually going to run by the wall, too.
Lings are in the base. Lings are in now. And the Stalk is almost done, so what will these realistically achieve? Well, it does mean that Overlord doesn't have to get sacrificed here. He will get a full scout off with these Lings.
Very important to know. And might even get a probe or two for his trouble. They pull those tasers out real fast.
Any denial of mining is cool. You get to see that there's no Stargate, no crazy shenanigans going off here, no pylons even in position here for for eventual tech to be placed there. But I guess he's just going to count the gas here, see what's going on, try to split up his Lings, but this Stalker ultimately will deny scouting. And right now, look at this Overlord, by the way.
No gases on that natural still, and going up to 3 gates. That +1's going to finish in tandem with those gateways. 4 gateways.
Whoa, okay. So last game, Welmu...
He's going to go ham, man.
Yeah, Welmu calculated last game that, yeah, my opponent's got to play greedy, right, to get back into this.
Is this Overlord for SoulKey just outside of his main? I think it's going to see the probe and the pylon in the bottom right. The bottom right, yeah, he's going to see it. So that really sucks. He starts a spine crawler, and even if he can't get to that pylon, he has a lot more advanced notice. 2 spines and the Roach Warren.
Wow, SoulKey sniffing this out. And I think even the...
that was such an important Overlord.
The Overlord at the top of the map as well, Nathaniel. Oh, nice.
Yeah, he saw the extra gateways.
Starts making a spine crawler there to save that drone. Last second there. So 3 spine crawlers going down. And also, the Overlord is actually seen now, all those gateways. And there's a second Overlord going into the main of Welmu.
He starts a Twilight, and his gas is at his natural behind this. I think he's realizing, like, you've kind of figured out what I'm up to. He's still building probes, even though he's starting to warp in across the map, but there's not a whole lot he can do with this. The only thing that's really nice for Welmu is that SoulKey starting his speed for his Lings so late, he can't really be caught out in the map.
Production-wise, too, 45 probes against the 36 of SoulKey.
Yeah, he's forced out a lot of units, and the +2 blink follow-up is actually quite nice. These slow Lings can't do anything against this.
Yeah, I still think Welmu's in great shape. while SoulKey's trying to have Lings in a position that, hey, I could counterattack you, I could catch any reinforcements that you were bringing, but of course Warp Gate is done, and so we can just reinforce by that pylon. Ooh. And with +1 upgrade on these units are a lot tougher to deal with just naked Lings, for sure.
Yeah, just the fact that he can kite the Lings off creep because they're slow is such a huge boon to his aggressive potential. And the pylon is actually closer to these rocks, so forcing all the spine crawlers to move, reposition, and at this point you can go up this ramp, be like, ah, you're over there, and then go back to the third base and basically bounce back and forth. Now Zergling speed's going to finish really soon, so he'll have to burn a recall in that case, but still, he's forced out actually a crazy number of units, still just on 36 drones.
A crazy number, and SoulKey's looking to try and take this fight here.
Oh, I mean, he does get the Lings on top of the Stalkers, which is more than ideal for this scenario. The Zealot's not able to completely fight them 1 versus 1. The Roach is time warped, but still going to get one of the Stalkers on the right side. And I mean, Welmu's, he's throwing away a lot of what he has for this, and SoulKey, he's still building units.
Yeah, SoulKey, he's not slowing down anytime soon, and this was a huge investment for Welmu. And while his production, or his economy is better for sure, his opponent is on 3 bases here.
I think after you force all that to move back, like if he had recalled right then he has a bit more of an opportunity. But he's actually still warping in because he knows there's a +2 and Blinker about to finish. But SoulKey's still cranked out an absurd amount of units behind that attack.
SoulKey's actually gone up to 6. I mean, Welmu's gone up to 6 gateways right now, and look at this. He's positioning these spine crawlers behind his mineral line at his third here, so anticipating what is happening next. So
this blink is really nice, though. With no Roach speed, it gives him a bit of a better chance to fight against this. However, there's just so many Lings. He's still going to grab a few of the Stalkers. What is nice that this pylon is very safe. Like, getting to this is going to be quite tricky.
I'm still kind of liking Welmu's position here. Despite so many Lings coming out on the field and so many Roaches, his economy this whole time has been pretty darn decent, and this army, with +2 upgrades, while he can't get in that nice little spot behind the mineral line because there's spine crawlers, fighting on the right side, there's also creep there, I suppose. Oh, if he gets a nice wraparound here, though.
Yeah, that could end him, and Welmu's continuing to blink away. Of course, the better, the more he blinks, the better, because the Roaches can't chase yet, and that Roach speed upgrade is finishing very soon, so it's about to get a lot trickier for Welmu. Most of the Lings are dead, so it's just fighting with Stalkers against Roaches, and now he's starting to trade very well.
Oh, SoulKey outstayed his welcome, and why is he fighting so far off creep without Roach speed?
So late. Now it's done, but all his Roaches are dead. He's going to catch the pylon on the right side, but that left pylon is so far away from creep. Like, as long as Welmu's paying attention, how could you possibly hope to kill that?
One of the sad things is, SoulKey is against an army that's got really good upgrades here, and these spine crawlers fighting alone without any sort of buffer, they're going to be taken out no problem.
Lings are coming in from the back to try to cut off this pylon and shut down the reinforcement capabilities, and the pylon does get picked off, so no reinforcements. Lings are going to almost grab 2 more of those Stalkers at the end of the army, but without a forward pylon now, I don't see how he's supposed to get any additional damage done. However, SoulKey behind on drones for quite a while, and he still does have to deal with these Stalkers.
A long length of time, and his units don't trade as cost efficiently. While a lot of these Stalkers are red for sure, trying to kill them still with Roach Ling, it's a really tough job. Here,
is he going to catch
trying to get these reinforcements.
This is actually a really fantastic pickup if you can grab these. They blink back towards the main army. Very smart play by Welmu, and all these Roaches are basically forfeit now. He should be able to chase them down.
Massively forfeit. They can't trade very well against these Stalkers at all, and even with these aggressive blinks on them, he's just trying to buy himself time here, but to what end? I mean, 39 drones to 45?
The only thing that looks cool here is that he's baited all these Stalkers to the left side, and he does have a good swell of Lings rushing over to this Nexus being built at the third base, so that's something.
That is something, and gets a few Stalker kills here. He's probably going to be able to deny this third.
Denying the third would be a really, really big play. Like, it wasn't like it was close to finishing, but he's also going to start a burrow, and he's actually getting some work done in here, getting some Roaches past this mineral line.
Ooh, and he's getting burrow while all this is going on too, and his opponent doesn't have any sort of that tech to reveal it, besides the ability to make cannons.
Yeah, so SoulKey's still being a pain in his side.
Going to be able to deny this third by the looks of it too.
Yeah, this is really, really big for SoulKey. He's just now starting to build drones for the first time since, what, like the it must have been like the 8-9 minute mark since his last worker finished. And well,
he's been working with very little, but making it work. And Welmu?
There's still a lot of Stalkers to deal with once Welmu gets prepped and ready and move out again. His +3 is even getting close to finishing. That's
+3 against 0-0 Zerg. Oh man. Throwing units like this is like throwing units into a meat grinder, but Look at this counterattack that he's got ready on the left side of the map. While he can't kill this army, and I believe Welmu knows that as he's marching across the map, this counterattack that SoulKey has ready, now he's seen this army very close to his base, he needs to start doing something. And yes, it will start moving in now.
Yeah, he wants to force him to come home, and he's already abandoned that third base, just looking for some sort of base trade type play, starting up a bunch of spines. He's like, yep, I'll go back down to one base. I'm hoping that I can just get in your base and kill you because I have Burrow. But that backup cannon ends up being pretty useful. He denies the +3, but okay, well, I guess he's just going to be able to get through here. There's a force field. Does have he actually has a good enough amount of gas. He can make enough sentries to hold this off forever. But that Burrow play, without any robotics facility, he can slowly trade to defend, I guess. What a weird game. The lack of detection is what makes this really, really uncomfortable for Welmu.
I'm still surprised that Welmu hasn't started making a robo yet. Like, with all of this, and he's seen.
Yeah, there's the robo. He can't build any more cannons, of course, because he lost the forge, so he's just kind of stuck. Both players go down to one base. Weird game.
I really like the position for Welmu, though. Like, there's no way for SoulKey to get up this ramp. If he had tunneling claws, then sure, he could burrow under the force field, but Welmu's got a better army. He's got the ability to recall if things get dicey back at home, and with that amount of stalkers, that isn't an amount of stalkers that you beat with just any amount of roaches and lynx. Oh, tunneling claws is being researched.
Yeah, he's starting it now. By the time it's done, he's going to have there'll be observers on the map.
Certainly will. Oh, and as time goes by, both these players mining roughly the same amount, but SoulKey's army doesn't really get any better.
So what does he have to do here? Like, SoulKey needs to somehow sandwich this army on creep. Like, right, his army needs to get him back, but he actually sees it in the center of the map right now, so loses those pylons.
One nice thing for SoulKey is the fact that there isn't an observer out on the map, I suppose. But
yeah, like, it's done, but now it's got a little ways to go. Oh, actually, yeah, the cybernetics score was lost too. He's just started to rebuild it.
Okay, I like this by Welmu also. Upon not being able to retake his natural with a Nexus due to a burrowed roach being there, now we can just sit here on top. Yeah. But look at the base that Welmu is taking. He's taking
Tunneling claws
the
isn't
fourth
ready
base.
Yet. Yeah, that's nice.
It's really nice.
Taking what's open. Tunneling claws won't be done in time, I think, for this observer. So, like, all his only hope is to just try to wrap around and unburrow under the army. Just hope that keep Welmu overextended, I guess. Like, now would be the ideal time to unburrow and just try to sandwich him.
Oh, I think SoulKey realizes that he can't beat this army anytime soon, though. Tunneling claws almost done.
Yep, he's ready to rock and roll now, but with observers on the map, it's still quite tricky. Just running. I guess they do.
The observer, Nathan.
Yeah, the observers are slow. They're not that slow. He's going to catch up. I think he had a better chance to hold these guys if he just gone back, but...
Oh, you can see the shadow.
He's slipping away.
He's very worried about the roaches on the left side, though, dealing damage, I think.
I mean, Welmu needs to get the hell home. I really don't think... like, this counterattack, if he denies this Nexus, that's absolutely massive for SoulKey.
I think he's going to deal a lot of damage.
Like, imagine if he
here.
gets in, like, oh, what's he going for?
He's already got roaches in the main here, and that's
like, there's no money left in the main base. So Welmu, if he kills, yeah, he's going to unburrow. He's killing the Nexus.
Welmu's chasing down these roaches around the map, and
oh god,
SoulKey.
Oh, he recalls, and Nexus still dies. Burrows. The observer's here.
Oh yeah, the observer is here.
Welmu's got 43 probes, no money in his main, so that's a long distance mine now to get himself going. But that was a
wait, what's happening on the other side of the map? There are red units still here. Ooh, so he kind of gets thwarted from the other side of the map too. And all these spine crawlers that SoulKey made, are they now at the natural? I believe they are. So he's got a relative.
Yeah, that gives him a really great defensive position.
I mean, the supply still works against Welmu, and this army isn't going to die anytime soon. And you need more than just 7 spine crawlers.
Yeah,
to
he can
defeat
force
this.
field. He can actually force field the roaches away and just fight against the spines with the blink. So he should still be able to kill him. He's going to pull the drones and the roaches now.
Great transfusions going down the spine crawlers, trying to keep them alive though. And oh, SoulKey.
There's too many stalkers. SoulKey can't stop this.
No, he can't stop this. This is too much by Welmu, and I think he know. In fact, he does know it. And he is trying to bust through. SoulKey. Oh, what a weird game.
Yeah, Welmu totally broke. He actually has 0 resources right now, but I don't think that one roach in his base is going to kill that Nexus and force some sort of really awkward base trade scenario. The full surround for SoulKey should not be enough as Welmu's heavily upgraded stalkers power through. GG. That game did get really weird, though.
It was a very weird game. Like, I liked how SoulKey realized early on that he can't beat that army of Welmu. So what he tried to do with it was just base trade. Like, he really tried to base trade, and unfortunately for him, Welmu handled it pretty well.
Was it SoulKey or Hyun in their group that did that against a different Protoss? Because we had that situation.
Gung Fu Panda, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember
I think it was Overgrowth against
Gung Fu
Hyun.
Panda was in a similar position where he just had his army standing on top of burrowed roaches and was just like...
It was Hyun, because he kept popping up and like sniping one and then burrowing.
Basically playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah, man, with roaches.
That could be, yeah, that's really frustrating, but we saw, just as in that game, the Stalkers did win out. Good control from Welmu. That's a situation where it was really crazy because even though he saw the first pylon, like Welmu's follow-up was pretty sharp after he got scouted.
Yeah.
But he was also able to just... It's so weird because with the Zergling speed, like he was able to just get too good of a position. And even then, I still thought that Welmu was in an awkward spot because he lost all of his units that were out there on the map, except the Mothership Core, I guess.
SoulKey did make mistakes that game, though. Like, given that we can see everything, we have that advantage over the players. But when he was on 36 drones for a very long time, and there was one fight in particular that we both talked about where he lost all his roaches off creep as roach speed finished.
Yeah, that was...
He really overcommitted there.
I think if he just sits back there... I mean,
he had 3 spine crawlers behind the mineral line already.
Yeah, it's hard to know that you can get away with it, but at that point, like, you want to just keep the roaches alive and get some drones out so that you can actually play a lead. Like, it's okay, yeah, you've got 3 bases. Your opponent sells more probes than you. Like, he's mining maybe a little less efficiently, but he's pulling in the same amount or more.
If we take what SoulKey actually knew, so he knew that his opponent was on 4 gateway, getting +2, and he saw the Twilight Council as well, so he knew Blink was going to be done pretty soon, if not done already. So the fact that he was chasing down the army, and the fact that Welmu, like, he didn't know that Welmu definitely added on 2 more gateways, but even with 4 gateway Blink, Sorka +2, you know that your opponent's going to have a good enough army to deal with just Roach Ling, especially off creep, especially when you don't have Roach speed. I mean, I just felt that was very suicidal by SoulKey, and we got to see that SoulKey knows what he's doing past that point, trying to base trade and stuff, put all the spine crawlers in his main ready, retook his natural, killed his opponent's like new base and such. So SoulKey knows how to win games, but early, I really felt that he totally underestimated how good those Blink Stalkers were going to be.
Yeah, Welmu had a really, really good control, not losing too many of them in those fights and not getting caught by the movements of SoulKey's army in the center of the map. We're now loading into map number 3, Expedition Lost.
Ooh.
Pretty weird map. I don't know what to expect, man.
With how crazy SoulKey's been playing so far, a 9 pool in both games, guys.
Imagine if he just went for the gold.
Could happen.
Or he just goes for another fast
Or he just
pool.
9 pools again. It's like, ha! Got you this
It's
time.
like SoulKey's like, yeah, I've got delay, so I don't want to have to deal with cannon rushes. Let's just build really fast pools. That sounds good to me.
I've barely ever seen 9 pools in series, never mind 2 in a row. But it's always fun to see what kind of games we get out of them, and there is going to be a pylon on the low ground from Welmu. Overlord is made by SoulKey this game, so this, not going to be a 9 pool, and yet again, so the tempo of this game will immediately be different.
Yeah, I think if you're Welmu, after those first 2 games, you're kind of on edge, because, you know, like, as obviously we know, like you said, we have access to that info, but is he going to go for the gold?
This is too early a move out for an expansion at the gold or his natural. This is more like a, hey, I could make a hatchery in your natural.
Okay.
Or the fact that he went 9 pool and scouted both the first 2 games, maybe he just wants to give Welmu the impression that he's doing the exact same again.
So there's like a level of mind games that could potentially be at play here.
Hell yeah.
Well, Welmu was going to open up with a forge, and I think this drone actually messing up that wall a little bit. What's the play here then? Like, with a probe here, you don't want to just start a hatch the gold, right? So he gets the pool.
Now,
Drone is still out there, though.
There's a few things that really interested me just then. So, SoulKey's going for a pool first, but the way that he was moving his drone in the middle of the map, it looked like he really wanted to put it... Oh, look at that. He put his drone in a position so he can't be caged. There, you've seen people put a cannon and 2 pylons.
Yeah.
Whereas he was already there anticipating that. So
really strong pocket location for the cannon rush on this map. And he still has that drone over by the gold base. He's going to take it. He's going gold.
I was very curious as to why Welmu... Well, that being said, we saw that the first 2 games that SoulKey 9-pooled, right?
Yeah.
And Welmu didn't chase down that drone that played aggressively at him. He wanted to find out immediately, hey, what's my opponent doing?
Well, now
because he 9-pooled, whereas against a much safer Zerg, I think he could have chased down that that drone and could have cannon rushed this gold. But, you know, this is, again, SoulKey just playing the series and playing the player. He's not just playing StarCraft here.
Yeah, very, very smart play. That's, you know, the signs that tell us of a seasoned veteran as SoulKey. This is one of those things where it's like when they bring in new maps that have like these gold bases, I still feel like the posturing of the gold base on this map is very different compared to Overgrowth. So I'm interested to see where he goes with this, mostly because it's a little bit different, and I can't, you know, it's hard to be certain.
The sad thing for Welmu... Oh, wow, in a third base. The sad thing for Welmu, when you go for a Forge Fast Expand...
Oh, your warp gate's so late, like, you can't really put pressure on this.
Your offensive potential is so much slower and so much less. And, I mean, the Cybernetic score just started. Yes, his gas income just started, and this is 4 minute 13 to the game. His opponent, he has a gold base up now, and you only just started being able to think about what you're going to do against this. So immediately, with this early drone scout of SoulKey, while he kind of puts himself at a little economic deficit, he certainly he gets to see everything he's up against and then gets to think about what he's going to do against it almost immediately. I really like it.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot to be in. And the nice, you know, the other benefits, of course, of this gold base that you have a very forward point for creep spread as the game goes on if he's not able to put any pressure on that. So you're already very, very far ahead in terms of having that map vision as well from the creep spread. The Zerglings might get this probe now that's on the gas.
Yeah, running on creep and then the Queen popping out the probe is done. So what do we have? We have a chrono boosted Stalker, actually, and it does look like he's doing that to deny scouting. So what's Welmu probably going to go for? I'd imagine that, in fact, he gets +1 weapons, so he wants to apply pressure sometime pretty soon.
It's looking pretty much exactly like... Well, not exactly, because the opening was a little bit different, but he's setting himself up pretty similar to the last game. We could see him go for a couple extra gateways as +1 comes to a completion.
Now, 100 gas being mined by SoulKey. He is mining from 2 gases, by the way. So that means that he's probably going to be adding on roaches sometime soon, which, yes, so the roach warren does go down.
I think the really nice thing in this situation for Welmu, like, when I say compared to the last game, he still opened up with Forge, but he had to build that second cannon and set that wall up pretty quickly, aside from having the few Lings actually run by the wall and get into his base. So Welmu can more crisply hit whatever push he wants to, although, of course, we once again go back to it's still not that fast because he opened Forge.
Overlord did die by SoulKey in the main base. Did he get to scout much? I think he might have just got to see those 2 extra gateways going up. Welmu trying to block this off with a probe does actually do the trick there, so losing a few Lings.
Really nice.
Yeah, and what did we get? What did SoulKey get to see? Got to see Warp Gate on the way, got to see a couple of Stalkers, got to see the Forge. So
compared to any push, though, that Welmu could try to make, last game, Zergling speed was only just starting now, so SoulKey's in a much better position to fend off any aggression by ground.
If we think about weaknesses for Welmu here, so he's relying on Stalkers. Like, SoulKey did not see sentries behind that, so he knows it's probably not an immortal push, as you really need the sentries to support that and deal damage and also just stop Zerglings from surrounding you and roaches. But with that, he's putting up Spore Crawlers, so he's very worried about, hey, what are you spending your gas on here? And soon he'll probably find out that it is just Stalkers and Blink, and yet again.
Yeah, there's nothing super crazy to worry about, but ooh, man, even for those Lings, his Photon Overcharges does not want to risk it.
Prematurely popped that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, like...
Oh boy, here we go.
Let's talk about weaknesses, though. So, Welmu's going for a +2 Blink Stalker all-in again. Which,
yeah. Well, I mean,
5 more gates after making...
Yeah, the third on this map is so tricky, too. With that gold base, he knows if he grinds this game out, he's going to end up irrecoverably far behind because of that forward position. All that money that SoulKey gets.
Holy crap, that's so many gateways.
Yeah, that's pretty absurd.
One thing that SoulKey really is kind of lacking here at that gold base of his is any sort of creep spread. But he's getting Burrow, he's getting Roach speed, and there's not going to be observers on the map and yet again. So, man, depending on how this goes, and SoulKey's income's been insanely high for such a long time now.
Yeah, I mean, that gold base is way more than paid off for itself, so it's really just going to come down to his positioning, his control to fend this attack off. I really, really like that he's getting Burrow because he once again recognizes the lack of any tech out of Welmu, short of the cannon, but Welmu's not looking to play defensive this game. He wants to push and kill, and I think Burrow gives a fantastic defense option if he manages to survive that long.
One thing, like this amount of Lings too, you often think like, oh man, Stalkers with +2, they own Lings. Well, they also own Roaches. You just need a lot of everything, and Lings buffer really, really, really well. If you think about where the Stalkers blink to, they blink behind. You can use the Lings to wrap around them again and grab the Stalkers without blinks. Those are the ones that are going to die.
Oh,
wow, look at
this
this positioning.
is so smart. Not being able to fight where there's creep, and I think SoulKey was expecting a frontal assault here. Welmu can deny mining from the low ground. That's pretty sick.
And a 3 pylon. Oh, he's going to put a gateway? I mean, a cannon where the probe is?
That would just be dirty.
I think he's going for that. I mean, that would also counteract Burrow.
Is there enough space? He might lock his probe in there. These Roaches are fighting. There's the force fields. Of course, he burrows, but...
Oh, he has a lot.
He was going to build the robo there.
I mean, this position, I thought it was going to be for a cannon, but... Oh,
he's got a full surround on this army right now. I mean, the Roaches need to probably get a look on that army and not the pylons. Some Zealots being worked in defense... excuse me, I guess defensively here by the pylons, but...
Oh, SoulKey's murdering this, man. He's got so much.
That burrow play was so sick. He waited out the force fields, and the sentries did not have enough energy to send another wave, so he just wrecks him, and now Welmu drops below 60 supply. The last of his Stalkers being hunted down. GG, that robo did not even have time to finish, and SoulKey moves up 2-1. The burrow was just brilliant. Like, I really liked Welmu's position there, but there was so much space. Like, yeah, the force fields are really good. He blocked them all out. But then the sentries they didn't have any more energy. So
they didn't have any more energy, didn't have enough for a recall.
Just like Burrow is like, let me just wait, and okay, force fields are gone, let's kill him.
I honestly think it all went downhill when you go for a Forge, then a Nexus build against a Gold first build.
Yeah.
And I mean, the early drone that scouted, and then he kind of went for a pool, because it was like, oh, you've gone Forge, and then he went for a hatch on the Gold, and it's like, that early Forge, it achieves absolutely nothing. It just delays the Nexus that could be, and then delays the gases, delays the gateway. Then you have to get the cannon as well against the possibility of Lings. Like,
yeah.
I just feel that Welmu's build is far too safe against a guy going Gold. It really is. And then SoulKey just managed to whip out enough units. They were equal on probe count, or harvest count, except SoulKey had that Gold base the whole time. So
yeah, just managed... I like that SoulKey recognized that too, because he immediately got the spawning pool. He's like, I know I can't hatch first to this base, but now that I open pool, and because the probe was in his base, so he knows where it is, like I can safely start this hatchery without worrying about my Lings getting there or being blocked by like a Sim City of pylons behind those mineral lines. Like, it was very well thought out by SoulKey.
And one thing that Zerg players go into the matchup against Protoss thinking, it's like, okay, is he going Nexus first? Is he going Gateway expand? Is he going Forge expand? What's he doing? Like, SoulKey's early drone, while he puts himself at a little economic deficit, he knows for sure what he's up against from that point on, and that's when he can react to what the Protoss is doing, rather than being the one that's reacting to what aggression he's going to face or when he's going to face it. Like,
it really allows SoulKey to set the pace of the game.
Exactly. He's the one that sets the pace of the game. He's the one that kind of makes the decisions. Do I then play aggressive with Speedlings, or do I play super greedy? Like, depending on what my opponent's done. And
take that dirty gold base.
Yeah, he can make very, very weird and outrageous decisions that normally, if you're playing blind, they'd be wrong. But the fact that he's never playing blind because he gets to see the initial build order that the Protoss does, it's very nice to be able to say, ha, you're doing this, I'll react to it. Zerg is a reactionary race. You see and you do. So when he opts to play like that with early vision, while putting himself at a little economic deficit, sure, playing the way that Zerg's meant to be played with that early scout, I really like his choice. And, you know, if he is confident that he is the better player, putting yourself at a little mineral deficit early on.
Yeah, it's like I can win
for
with
being
this.
Safe and being able to see and being the one that gets to lead the pace of the game.
For being able to write off a dozen of the, Protoss cheeses that can kill you in the early game, I think, make a really good point. It's worth it in all the instances where SoulKey used it, especially given that there were 2 games in this series where you opened up Forge. So if you don't drone scout, you're like, oh, I'm just going to 15 hatch to the gold, and then probe comes by, is like, cannon, cannon, cannon.
Yeah. Yep. It's all like, and Welmu going into this 4th game, which will be Varney. It's a map with gold bases again.
Yeah.
It's a map that you can't really 9-pool on, I don't believe.
No.
Or at least
easier,
not
It's
likely.
easier to wall off, but like we haven't seen Zergs play this map straightforward. Like you have the back natural, very actually like
we saw Serral do this map very nicely.
And I think we had another Zerg. It might have been Hyun or SoulKey
or Firecake.
Or Firecake take the other bases first. Because you just bank that bottom right or top right base.
Snoot do something really crazy on this map too before.
Snoot hatched first to the gold twice
Yeah.
on this map.
Yep.
And that was against Showtime.
Mm.
Well, Showtime actually had a pretty brilliant response to that.
Showtime's just like, I'm going to kill you, son.
It's like, yes. He's like, that base. Well, I can go into your main now where all your tech and important things are and kill you.
Yeah, it was a very good response. So, Varney Research Station, and so far, SoulKey's been a very, very interesting Zerg to watch, purely because of how reactionary he is, and immediately going for an Overlord, so we won't see that 9 pull from him this game.
Yeah,
but
this is definitely like, the trickier map to make that work on.
when the entrance to both your main and your natural is a single ramp that can be blocked off by 2 buildings and a Zealot.
Yeah, not worth.
Not worth. Not when you need, on a map, say, like Overgrowth, where you need a good, 2 gateways and 2 pylons and a Zealot, say. I think that's what you need.
Yeah,
I think,
think
in fact, it is.
it's not too tricky compared to other maps where you can run by or you have to build a lot of buildings to block it off. Like, if you go into this map with the mindset that you're going to gateway expand after Cybercore, you're totally safe against everything.
Totally.
Like, totally safe, man.
Totally, man.
This drone scout is still going to come, though, so...
I like it, dude.
He just knows. Like, against this, it's like, well, okay.
Oh, you've gone gateway? Oh, I'll go hatch first,
but
then.
it's so nice because he can see that the gas isn't taken again. This is the same opening that that he wanted to bust out in the first map, and we saw how he was able to abuse the incredibly late warp gate, the late everything. Like, he just didn't have a lot.
in those situations where it's like, okay, I'm a Zerg, I'm going to play safe with a pool first, because what if he goes, Forge? Well, look, my opponent went gateway. Oh, I'm going to go hatch first, because... I can get away with that. It's just such a big deal being able to know what your opponent's doing right from the get-go. And SoulKey just makes it look like this is how you're meant to play ZVP.
Yeah. The probe's going to be able to start up that Nexus without too much difficulty, which is actually very nice for him, especially considering if he was blocked or if something crazy happened, then...
And look, against this, he's seen that the gases still aren't being made.
Yeah.
He's seen that the cybernetics core isn't going at the front yet.
Like,
and what does he do?
Greedy. It's a very, very long time until we see any aggressive potential out of Welmu. Like, he can't do anything.
I don't often see Zergs go for this drone scout, but it really does give him so many opportunities and ways to play this matchup.
I could safely just go double hatchery before spawning pool. There's nothing to worry about. And I know exactly when your gas is finished. So at this point, he can pretty much map out in his mind, as he also gets to see when the cybernetics core starts. Okay, you've got a solid 3+, almost 4 minutes until I have to worry about warp gate being done. So I just build drones for the next 3 minutes, scout, and then build more if I need to.
Now, Welmu. Go for this Nexus. Has the gateway made. Cybernetics core almost up. Mining gas. It's a standard build by all means. What kind of tech can he go after seeing a guy going for 3 bases? I mean, it's kind of it's not a map that you're really immortal all in on. I mean, you do have that choke down the left side, I suppose, with the chasm combined that you can take advantage of. It's good for force fields and recalling out of, but getting to that position, incredibly difficult. And against a player that's gone 3 hatch before pool, going to get 3 queens out immediately. I like the fact that he's keeping a probe over there. Might be a little obvious, might get scouted out pretty soon by a few lings, but the question for Welmu, what's going through his mind is, okay, what build am I going to do to deal damage here? Because I need to slow down my opponent.
Yeah, that's going to be the really interesting to see. He's opening Sentry after Stalker. So he's going to be able to start banking energy early on. He can use this, of course, for a hallucinated Phoenix Scout later down the line, or prepare for some variety of push. And one of the things about this map is if you don't get crazy creep spread, one force field blocks the reinforcements from the main and the natural. So that third base becomes pretty susceptible to being hit, and that's one of the things SoulKey's going to have to keep his eyes open for if there's a big gateway flux.
No tech building going down yet. Okay, so there is a forge. Sentry at the front has been spotted.
Welmu! Oh!
Oh dear.
No hallucinated Phoenix, and that's like a lot of force fields down the line that he won't be able to have from that Sentry banking energy.
And can't just start killing that Overlord in the main base. It just kind of got to run in and go, ooh, okay. So you get to see the Forge in the main, got to see the 2 gateways at the natural. And from that point on, SoulKey can pretty much say, oh, okay, looks like you're going for a third base with that kind of build. I mean, I didn't see any tech.
This evolution chamber, you think he's... I want to believe he's going to get melee attack.
I'd guess melee too. I mean, there's no Roadborn.
Just have a bunch of lings, because they would eat through those stalkers so much faster. Because Welmu, I'm getting the impression we're going to see that +2 blink out of him no matter what happens. Whether off 2 or 3 bases, man.
Like, this game, it's already a very different game. Like, SoulKey knows that his opponent was going for 3 bases. There was no Stargate. He didn't see a Robo. He got to see the Forge going down, so he got to see, like, hey, my opponent... He's not planning on slowing me down. He's planning on trying to catch up with me. He's trying to plan on going to the macro game with me, and I'm already on 3 hatcheries. Like, and now upon seeing this, wow, SoulKey, he's feeling great. 4 gases all at once. He's going to keep on droning. He knows the timing for the attack that's going to happen, and that is kind of that Blink Stalker attack that you talked about with the +2. And, you know, the production tab. All from just seeing a few little things, those overlords, it gave all this away, and that drone count now, 68 against 54.
That's just why I love this +1 attack so much. Like, those stalkers, the amount of how much faster they're going to die will make it very difficult for Welmu to time out his blinks, because normally it's like, okay, we don't usually fight against upgrade links, and the Hydralisk then opens up the door for him to go for a big counter push as well.
What do you think about positioning your tech buildings here?
Yeah, they're quite exposed.
Quite exposed?
These would be like the first things to die if he got pushed, but I guess he's not expecting his opponent to be able to get to him with how active these lings are on the map.
I'm very...
I'm still questioning it
I'm
myself.
very curious as to what his reasoning process behind doing that is. Taking his gold base, by the way, is SoulKey.
Yep.
So trying to stay step ahead of his opponent. And he's been mining so incredibly well here. Getting roach speed, getting Hydralisk range, getting Hydras themselves. He's getting together a very good army against Blink Stalker Sentry. Why are Hydras good? Well, they can shoot over the force fields. They deal very good damage in very fast succession too.
Yeah, their damage rate is insane, and the function of the Zerglings are going to help burst down, but also soak up some fire for the Hydras, as the Hydras are very expensive for their cost or for their health, you know. But the Roaches can also act as a really good meat shield. Those are just the ones that usually get force fielded out.
You know, what was the path of the hallucinated Phoenix before this one? I think they went for the same path, correct? Scouting the third base.
So that's why he puts his tech in the weirdest position ever.
I'm thinking this is why, because this is where Welmu hasn't scouted with his hallucinations. And look at these hallucinations.
Yeah, Welmu's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing to me?
I think both those died before any...
Yeah, he didn't see any of that.
Out.
He didn't see any of that. And wow, I mean, if that is the reasoning process behind it, and so far that makes total sense, that's very intelligent. And gold base is saturated. Welmu did get to see this with a hallucinated Phoenix.
And SoulKey's already loading up the next shot here to get ready to move into Swarm Hosts if he needs to.
Wow. And Overlord count-wise, he's already out of 200 supply. Going up to 80 drones is SoulKey. Decent upgrades too. I mean, he's going to be against a +2 Protoss, but he's going to have 1-1-1. 1 carapace, 1 melee, and 1 ranged. He can go into anything pretty much right now, but does look like his unit of death choice is Swarm Host.
Yeah. The Swarm Hosts are just phenomenal against this army composition, because if you're going to play Storm against Swarm Hosts, the Locusts are going to outlast the energy of the Templar very easily. It takes so long to build up energy for Storms. This basically gives Welmu a one-punch type of build where he can try to break through all of it, but if he fails, he's going to lose, a dozen Immortals, and then you're pretty much screwed.
Now, Welmu opted not to go for Colossi. I'm kind of curious about that decision.
Yeah, that's what concerns me the most, man. It's going to be very difficult to be cost-effective with Storms against Locusts.
Well, he's definitely going for that one-punch strategy that you talked about. This is designed to just kind of battle through Roaches, Lings, Hydras that can storm them.
Yeah, and just spam out force fields to block the Locusts away while you kill everything else.
But, I mean, him...
Really good observer positioning, though.
Super good observer positioning, and Welmu, upon seeing this, like, the thing that Welmu has to worry about here is he's against an army that goes to the war of attrition. So if he just manages to survive and hang on a little bit against this huge kind of punchy army, SoulKey's going to be fine, but the fact that his creep spread is so lackluster on the right side of the map, I'm very worried for SoulKey here. And Welmu, man, he managed to hit 200 supply, or very close to it, very, very quickly here.
Yeah, well, here comes that big punch. Of course, Stalkers blink forward, and the Lings with the Hydras actually wrecked the majority of the Stalkers. Quite tricky. There's the first storm actually going on to mostly the force fields. The Locust waves coming through, actually timing out, but here comes the next one, really helping to chew through the Zealots because those Hydras are just allowed to fire with free reign.
Look at that supply count of Welmu. That was at close to 200 supply not too long ago. And here, I don't think he knew at all what he was up against. He's run out of storms, and now multiple Locusts raining free on the army. He has to retreat.
You talk about a one-punch build, man. He basically...
That was his punch, dude.
Yeah, well, he tried to stand in front of a truck and punch, and he's not Superman, so...
Man, he punched a brick wall there. A brick wall. And SoulKey still on 200 supply. And look, he's got blue just marching out across the map. And while Welmu's trying to be fancy around these Locusts, they aren't going to go away anytime soon, Welmu.
And the upgraded Lings are going to chase, so this army takes an incredible amount of damage as he doesn't have any armor upgrades, so... Welmu doesn't have a lot of options left, man. Swarm hosts are getting closer and closer to his base. The Roaches, Locusts, and Lings all pushing forward. That Archon with no health left gets picked off. 2 Immortals are all that stand between him and base, and just an endless flood of Roaches killing him.
What's this resources lost have at? I don't think SoulKey... And look, Welmu, he's losing more. He's against a very cost-efficient army. His third... Man, he's getting absolutely slammed by SoulKey this game. SoulKey's play was just... so good. Lots of things were so smart about it. The way that he hit his tech, the 3 hatchery, got to scout very early with the drone. And Welmu, he's going for that gold base, but man, your third, it's going to die soon, and your opponent, he's still looking pretty even if he loses this base.
Yeah, he's coming in now. He's going to try to pick this base off, but I mean, SoulKey has a very large bank behind all of this. He can kill off this third, or at least try, and then head back over to defend. Wait, he can also afford to make quite a bit at home himself.
What are his swarm hosts doing in the middle of the map here? Are they... Okay, so they're marching forward.
They're just kind of chilling there for a bit.
What does he have at his third base? He must have quite a lot. Oh, and Welmu called GG.
Yeah, losing too much. I think he kind of saw the writing on the wall. That gold base, even though he killed it, like he got a lot of money from it. SoulKey had a really nice bank, so even if he was able to kill off those Roaches and Hydras, he had at least another max of Roaches on him.
He had such a bank there, and SoulKey's play, like... He adapted so well, and his army. Let's be fair here. Like Zealot, Immortal, Stalker with a few storms. That's not going to cut it against Locusts at all. You need Colossi, or you need a lot of Archons.
That's exactly what Locusts like. 100% like hard counter. Like the Locusts have really short range, and their damage output is insane. Like if you want to fight with Zealots against Locusts, there's no Zerg player that's like, no, like I'll take that any day of the week.
Welmu never got to see that infestation pit. He never got to see that Hydra.
Yeah, like we thought it was so weird, but then of course SoulKey's like, no, you fools.
I mean, like
it was brilliant in the
way
end.
the way that he scouted with his hallucinated Phoenix, they'd scout down the sides of the map, and then through the base.
Yeah,
they never scouted down through the middle, in which once SoulKey kind of realized, like, hey, that's kind of what's happening here. I'll put my tech here.
He's just flying around the edges because he's also checking the expansions.
Yeah, through the edges, and very, very key. Oh, very smart play by SoulKey. I was going to say very key play by SoulKey, but too many keys. Too many keys, Nefanius. And with that, so today, Happy takes out Marine Lord 3-1 in one side of the bracket, and Welmu falls to SoulKey 3-1 also in the other.
Yeah, SoulKey will play against the winner between Firecake and Rain. Rain versus SoulKey could be pretty sick. I'm really interested to see how Firecake handles Rain. Mostly because the Koreans, at least lately, haven't been having too much of the Swarm host play. So either you're not practiced against it, or you're so good at it that none of the Zergs want to do it. Right,
like CJ Hero.
Yeah.
Once he played Snoot a little bit, he got comfortable with it, and yeah. But that being said, the Swarm host style on Europe, specifically on Europe,
it's a bit different.
So defensive. It's so defensive, and the Koreans, they're not used to that.
It's like, Firecake like watched that game. He's like, SoulKey's Swarm host went off
all
creep.
The way across the map.
They went off creep. They left his base.
It's very different, and that too, like the European Protosses, when they play against these Koreans doing this aggressive Swarm host play, they're not used to that either. Like they're used to being given time, and with time, maybe you can do something, but like it's totally different metas on each server. But that being said, we also have Bunny against... Who was Bunny against?
Showtime.
Wow, okay.
That's the first match tomorrow. And I guess we're going to do Rain versus SoulKey, Rain versus Firecake afterwards.
I think that is actually the best foreign Protoss right now against the best foreign Terrans, so I'm actually really looking forward to that matchup.
Yeah. Showtime played really, really well in his group, despite, you know, all things considered. I was actually quite blown away. Like, he shreked Snoot. Like,
Twice.
Yeah, pretty. It was pretty one-sided, to be perfectly honest. Really interested to see him go up against Bunny.
And SoulKey, not SoulKey, Showtime also went through his WCS group in first place.
Yeah.
Defeating Morrow and the Chinese player. Didn't get to play against Hydra in that group, but yeah. And Bunny, he's been looking really freaking sharp. He's through in WCS also. Qualified first in his Fragbite group, defeating SoulKey and Hyun.
That TVZ, man.
That TVZ, but TVP against Showtime it is.
It's gonna be tricky. It'll be very interesting to see, guys. That's gonna be tomorrow here, same time, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock CET, PM. Just to be as clear
1800.
as 18. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Europeans. That's okay. This is an instance where
Europeans with your superior time system.
It makes it so much easier. I won't argue with you on that.
PMs, RAMs. It's okay, no. Nathanias.
Just 1800 CET, guys. We'll see you here tomorrow. You watched the Fragbite Masters StarCraft tournament powered by Comhem and McDonald's. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sån där god onionsås får man tänka på när The Big Apple och strosar runt där och bacon. Vid Frihetsgudinnan brukar fast klart att jag har ju aldrig varit i New York, men nu kan jag ju i alla fall äta New York Supreme och Company och drömma mig bort lite grann, så välkommen in och gör det du med. Ät och dröm lite.
Down on me and I can barely breathe. Oh, can you feel it? And I'm surrounded everywhere. I can feel it, I can feel it. It's creeping up on me, but what I just can't see. Oh, say you feel it. I'm falling into this unknown. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? There's nothing I can do but to give in to the plan. And the bass kicks in, and the bass
to the max. To the max.